Welcome to the Gen X Journey podcast. Dive into all things important to Gen Xers, from advice on aging parents, expert interviews, product reviews, and heartfelt conversations. So put down the joystick, grab your Walkman, dust off your old yearbooks, and welcome to the Gen X Journey.
Hey everyone, this is Wayback, your friendly time machine. The guys and I hope you are enjoying the Gen X journey so far. With the 4th of July coming up, we thought we would revisit the 4th of July episode we launched a year ago. We really enjoyed all of the memories people shared of the 4th of July with us, and thought we would reintroduce it to our new format and our new audience. So when you hear us call the episode the Wayback Chronicles, just remember, that was the name of our previous show. But we had some goodies in there that are worth your time. We hope you enjoy this special show, and if you enjoy it, don't forget to visit our other previous episodes. And now, I present to you, the 4th of July.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Wayback Chronicles 4th of July celebration show. 4th of July is really, for me, Noel, and Keith, is probably one of the holidays that the three of us have spent the most time together. And if I think of any one holiday, we've always seemed to find a way to coordinate most frequently on the 4th of July. And for that reason, we have tons of memories. And we reached out to a lot of our friends, family members, listeners of the show. And we wanted to get an idea, just some of the traditions, some of the fun stuff that everybody sort of does every year at 4th of July. So we're going to take you through some of these sound clips, and then sort of share some of the cool stuff that we'd love to do as well.
You know what my favorite tradition on 4th of July is?
What's that?
My favorite tradition is going over to Noel's house and blowing up the area. What's yours, Steve?
You know, it's funny. One of my favorite traditions is hanging out with you and Noel at Noel's place and blowing up his neighborhood. Noel, how about you?
Well, I think easily my favorite memory, and I think about 4th of July, is when you two guys would come over to my house and we blow stuff up. And mostly blow up the neighborhood.
Yes.
I vividly remember that one 4th of July that we spent, I don't even know how many, I mean, it was like a war zone on that street.
Yeah, it was. For those that don't live in Harris County has really no restrictions whatsoever on where you can pop fireworks or anything. Like the fireworks stands, start popping up about 2 weeks before 4th of July. And then the weeks leading up to the 4th of July, they open up and everybody just starts. I'd love to know how many thousands of dollars are spent on fireworks in Harris County. It's got to be obnoxious. But our first neighborhood that Lynn and I lived in, the first 4th of July, I had no idea. What the amount of pyros that lived around me, but I mean, you guys were there for it. It was like,
I remember the neighbors setting up mortar shell cannons, whatever we call it, like contraptions, not just like one piece of PVC pipe, like a stand with at least 8 PVC cannons
mounted.
I felt like we needed to pay admission to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think we spent less because of it. You know, it's because there was so much. We got smarter the following years after that first year.
Yeah, I tell you what, I've lived in Harris County for 26 years, 25 years, and I have yet to go to like a fireworks show, because honestly, who needs it? Like, it's my street is the fireworks show. Is better than most fireworks shows out there, and you can participate, blow stuff up too. But
totally.
Completely nuts. And I think there's a couple recordings. I know Linda, my wife, had a recording that kind of shares her traditions and things like that. Kind of talks about that street that we were just talking about, guys. And there's some other clips, some submissions that we had from our friends and family that kind of talk about their traditions around the 4th of July. That let's play a few of those for the listeners.
It sounds good.
Let's do it.
My favorite 4th of July memory would probably be early in our marriage. We lived on this street in this like starter home community, and those people blew up everything. The smoke would line the streets. It looked like World War III. I mean, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. It was horribly terrific. But lately, we moved out of that neighborhood into another one, and they're a little more conservative where we are now. But we've also started traveling that first week in July. And so I guess my recent favorite 4th of July memory is sitting on a ship in the port of Aruba watching fireworks on the deck of the ship, which was really kind of cool.
The funniest thing that happens on the 4th of July, it's when Noel and I would get actually it was Noel who would purchase the professional grade fireworks where you get the big long tube, light the long fuse, and it would shoot the thing up in the sky and it would explode into this gigantic starburst. And the funniest thing that would happen is you'd go out there and you'd light the fuse and you'd drop the thing into the tube, and then the tube would tip over. And that's when things get really exciting, because they would shoot into the neighbor's yard and explode. And you'd wonder, oh my God, did you just set their shrubs on fire? Is their backyard on fire? And so you'd have to do basically a check of to run over the neighbor's yard and make sure things aren't on fire. And then as soon as everything's okay, well, then you just run back and do it again. And this wouldn't happen just once. The tube would tip over 3 or 4 times throughout the whole night. And every time, I mean, you're just taking your life into your hands every time you light those stupid things. And so to me, I think that is just, those are the funniest memories of that tube tipping over, and you're just like, oh my God, what is about to happen?
So not only are the fun of explosive fireworks and all that fun stuff the great part, but food. I mean, how can you have a good 4th of July without the food? So what are some of y'all's favorite food topics, food items to throw on the grill, get ready? What's your favorite things?
Yeah, for me, the simpler the better. I think my family's got pretty simple taste, and so we'll put hamburgers and hot dogs. Kind of the all American food is really kind of what's on the menu at my family.
It's a Yankee Doodle showdown over there, man.
You better believe it.
Yeah, I mean, very much the same with us. You always like to watch the hot dog eating contest, the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, and for first of all, it's just disgusting watching how many hot dogs those guys can eat. But for some reason, I'm like, hey, let me go have a couple hot dogs just to show them I can eat a hot dog too. And I'm not in the competition, of course, but no, typically we do hot dogs. Usually it's hottest in outside on that day. So the idea of running the smoker just something I don't want to do that day. But
I agree with you. All it is way too hot to do anything on the smoker. But one thing that I kind of add a little Tex-Mex flavor to, just from being where I live, is I like to do the jalapeno poppers for the 4th of July.
Nice.
So on top of the little hot dog and hamburger, we like to throw little poppers out there. I'm probably the only one in my family that will truly eat them, if I'm being honest. But
that's the best part.
I agree.
You get all for yourself, right?
Absolutely. Then I have my own explosions, but that's okay.
Yeah, blow up the O-ring.
So, but yeah, no, food is a fun pastime of the 4th of July. So
yeah, I think being Texans too, everything kind of revolves around food and getting together. And when anytime you get some Texans together, it's all about food and fellowship and all that and stuff. So we had some really good submissions from some of our listeners and friends and family. We'll roll those for you right now.
So what's cooking at the Kirsch household for the 4th of July? It's going to be some sort of smoked meat, probably brisket, a pork butt, or ribs. Generally, when the 4th of July rolls around, Becky wants some sort of cooked flesh. And it's got to be smoked on the Kamado grill. It's got to be something that it takes me days ahead to plan, that I'm going to have to stay up all night. I mean, whatever is going to be the hardest on me, it's going to taste the best to her. So, like I said, I'm banking that's probably a brisket or some sort of pork butt.
What is cooking on the grill for our family on the 4th of July? It's generally hot dogs because for some reason I feel that 4th of July and hot dogs go hand in hand. Unfortunately, with our family is we're not real big planners. So we always find ourselves the morning of the 4th of July wandering through the grocery store searching for hamburger buns or for hot dog buns.
Yeah, hot dogs. Watch a little Boston Pops concert. And
oh yeah, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah,
I'd like to go see that live someday. I think that would be a bucket list item for sure.
Yeah.
Totally.
Matter of fact, one of our good friends, Joe Guzman, actually just shared a clip with us about his bucket list trip with his partner. So let's listen to that one.
My favorite 4th of July memory happened in 2019. We were in Boston for my partner's conference, and we'd been running all over the city, seeing the sights. We even got to see the dress rehearsal for Pops Goes the 4th, which was pretty darn awesome. But my favorite portion of the trip was the banquet. The banquet was in a hotel that overlooked the harbor. So at the end of the dinner, they turned off the lights and we got to see the phenomenal fireworks show that is put on every year in the Boston Harbor.
So, definitely as you think about when you're around family and friends during the 4th of July, no doubt there's some moments of hilarity that pop up, to make a nod and fireworks pop up. There's
what
many.
you did there.
Yeah, thank you. So, shortly after Rob and I got married, we moved to Alaska, and so we spent our first 4th of July actually in Juneau watching the fireworks on the waterfront, and it was beautiful and everything. And so I'll share that clip.
Hi everybody, this is Robin. I was thinking about what I was going to say, and I'm sure that when I get off of this recording that I'll think about like 5 other great July 4th stories that I totally forgot about for this, but the ones that stand out, I'm going to talk about 2 of them because it's funny. The second one is funny, will be funnier knowing the one that was before it to the second one. So our first year in Alaska, we were in Juneau, and we for the 4th we went downtown and watched the fireworks over the water. There was a big yacht in the water. It was just beautiful, really nice, and just Juneau's a neat little town anyway. So that was our first July 4th in Alaska, so it was really nice. But then the next year we were in Anchorage, and it was quite different because it was so hot that there were fires everywhere, and of course they don't have AC up there, so we bought a portable AC, which was hard to find because everybody was buying them, and we had to hibernate in our room and enjoy 4th that way. So they weren't even having fireworks that year because of the fires and the heat and everything. So we pretty much went from one extreme to another. So those were our 4th of July experiences in Alaska. So anyway, that's it. Thanks.
So that memory that Robin shared in Juneau was a great time for us, except for our dog was my wife had this bright idea to bring our dog with us. And so in Alaska, there's just not the main fireworks show. There's like all these ancillary. Everybody brings their own fireworks, and so all of a sudden, like 10 feet to your right, somebody's popping off 1,000 black cats.
Oh boy!
And my dog was terrified, and so it was a fun moment for us. But that dog was never the same again after that fireworks show.
Reminds me of that. Have you seen that image of that dog that looks like he's in a combat fatigues, and he's like, I've seen things, man.
Yeah.
That always shows up after the 4th of July.
Yeah,
just like that. Yeah, listeners, make sure you keep your pets in a safe and less noisy location, because they would appreciate that for you for sure.
After every 4th of July, it's talk about traditions. There's a tradition in my subdivision that everybody with a dog and a small child goes on Facebook and complains about the fireworks. Like, how long have you lived here? I mean, the whole county is on fire and blowing up. I mean, Anyway, but that is a tradition for many. Thankfully, not for us, but
Oh boy.
yeah, the tradition of complaining. But
that's funny that you mentioned that, because we follow the Nextdoor app, and for like the week leading up to 4th of July, everybody's obviously buying fireworks, and then you'll see on Nextdoor app, did anybody hear gunshots at 1 a.m.?
yeah.
It's fireworks season, duh.
Yeah, it's the 4th of July, sir.
Yeah.
Well, one of our listeners actually sent in a story that's kind of related to that. So let's roll that one right now.
4th of July statements from Jason Bolt. What was your favorite 4th of July memory? When my wife and I first moved to Tomball / Harris County, we were amazed at how you could shoot fireworks off of your driveway and the amount of explosions that were just happening all around us. We both grew up in towns where fireworks inside the city were considered a violation of the city ordinance and would be subject to fines. So our first 4th of July and also New Year's Eve, we just sat outside watching the show all night and just amazed at how many were around us and how many were shooting off. It was really cool and enjoyable. As a side note to that, my favorite thing about the 4th of July is all the Nextdoor complaints about the loud noises and how people are so worried about their dogs being scared, and just the loud noises and how it goes on all night and this, that, and the other. So the posts at the 4th of July and New Year's, they just make me laugh every year.
Keith, what about you? Any funny moments you can think of?
I remember probably the funniest, aside from our times when we've had some crazy things, but when we were in high school, we had a scavenger hunt one 4th of July, waiting for it to get dark. And I remember doing the scavenger hunt, and then we decided we would go out into the desert and shoot some fireworks, where I think it was over in a county in New Mexico, believe it or not, where it was legal, where you could pop things. And so I remember that we shot some bottle rocket, something of that sort. But anyway, this is funny, but it's not funny for the guy that happened to. But I remember we shot something, and it ended up catching a cactus on fire. And so we're like, oh my gosh! And so my friend Carlos, I'll never forget this. He starts taking off in a full sprint to try to be the hero to put this thing out. Well, it's not to the point where you can really see much other than this fire and maybe a flashlight that he's running with. And so you can imagine the spotlight of the flashlight where he's going full
waving
stride
around. Yeah.
The next thing you know, he gets clotheslined by a barbed wire fence, right? And I mean, just full sprint into a dead stop, and all you see is like this flashlight DOA on the ground, right? I mean, and so the good news is, I mean, it hurt like heck, but he was okay. But it was just, I don't know why, but it was like one of those things where we all just laugh, and then all of a sudden we realize maybe he's not okay.
Hey, Carlos, get up.
Yeah, get up, Carlos. And so, but anyway, the fire was put out. All the drama was avoided, but it was like a moment of hilarity. Then, oh my gosh, is he okay?
Concern.
And then he's back, and we all start hilariating again. The whole laugh. That's one of my, other than some of our moments, that was probably one of my favorites. And also, I'll tell you, I had another good memory of my friend Scott, who right now his daughter Nicole, who we're going to talk. She's got a clip for us too. She's managing the fireworks stand that her family works on. But I remember a lot of history about going and helping him with his fireworks stand, and then afterwards that night, whatever was left, we'd go out in a farm field and just have a blast blowing these things up. So anyway, here's a little bit of our friend Nicole. Who's going to be talking, because she's managing the fireworks stand this year, and just kind of telling us what's special about doing that for her and her friends. So let's give it a listen.
Hi guys, my name's Nicole, and I work a fireworks stand here in Lubbock. I think my favorite tradition that has to do with the fireworks stand is definitely hanging out with my friends the whole time. I definitely try to recruit a lot of my friends to work for me, just to make the time go by faster and have some fun in the summer. And then, they make some extra cash while they're doing it. And, I just love the part of summertime, hang out with friends and, working a cool job together. And some of the cool items of this year are, I would say personally, the big novas. Those are artillery shells, and those are the ones that like you put in a single tube, and you light it, goes off once, explodes in the air. But they are our biggest artillery shells that we sell, and I love the big fireworks, love the big explosions. So I think that's my favorite. That's the coolest firework that I think that we have is the big novas. I just love those personally because they're like super big. And what it's like to work a fireworks stand, it is actually extremely fun. Now I have two different perspectives. I have just worked as an employee and now I'm working as the manager. So kind of get both sides of the spectrum there. And I would definitely say, of course, the manager side has a little bit more of the stress in it involving like inventory and having to get the workers together and all that. But I love it. I love the hustle and the, getting to talk to customers and getting to figure out and solve problems. And I don't know, it's a super fun gig to work, and I'm very thankful that I have this opportunity, and I would recommend it to anybody who has the chance to work at a fireworks stand, because it's just 2 weeks out of the year and you make good money, and it's just really fun to hang out with your friends and just selling explosives to strangers. So I love it. Thanks for having me on here, and bye.
So I love that, she was super excited about some of the new stuff this year. And so that's what you expect. You want you want to go to that fireworks stand where they really know what they're selling. And so
Yes.
make sure y'all go to Nicole's fireworks stand, because
absolutely
they got that down.
I tell you what, the my younger brother Damon submitted a clip, and this is kind of it's like a walk down memory lane. When he sent this to me and I was listening to it, it was like, oh my gosh, yeah, he's right. And it talks about how, I won't ruin it, but it just kind of shows a progression of like when we were children popping fireworks to today. It's pretty funny. And like we started small and we've certainly gotten larger and larger and more destructive in our older age. But let's roll that clip so you can listen to this. This is a window into my childhood. So here you go.
Awesome.
What are some of the traditions in our family in celebrating the 4th of July? It's obviously fireworks. I mean, from our youth, we would pop fireworks. And what's amazing about this is how it's evolved over the years. I remember Noel and I, as children, we would pop just a black cat, or we would twist 2 or 3 together, and that evolved into just lighting all 50 or 100 of them on fire. And then then it went to M80s, and then it went to a box of M80s. And then as we became adults, it became, the professional grade stuff. We're not happy with just simple black cats or M80s anymore. We need something that's going to make a humongous mushroom cloud.
So that story, just reminds me of when we were kids. We were allowed to have some fireworks, but not the range of fireworks that you and your brothers were allowed to have. But my brother was the kid that would unwind the black cats and just pop one at a time instead of doing the 100 or 50 or whatever it was that we bought. By the way, if we were allowed to spend more than like $7 on fireworks total, it was basically like sparklers and some black cats, and there we go. Maybe a tank.
The tank. That one of those kids, right? There's always one in a group of kids that get together and like are blowing up stuff. You have the one kid that's over there patiently unwinding one, and then they take it out and they light it and it blows up, and they enjoy that. And then they move to another one, they undo that. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like I'm convinced, like from 1982, there's still a kid that is still out there unwinding like a set of 500. He's like on 497, and he outgrown his clothes like years ago, but he's still out there doing that. Pop. Oh boy, that was fun. Next. Pop.
It reminds me of that scene in Harlem Nights where the gangsters are going after quick, and they're shooting machine guns. That one guy just pop. Will you stop that?
Pop. Yeah, that was so funny.
That's awesome.
Harlem Nights,
Yeah.
good one. So yeah, I had a next door neighbor in that neighborhood that my first neighborhood you guys came over to, and he had a PVC pipe that was probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 feet long. Yeah, he would like push it into the ground, and that's where he would launch all of like his aerial stuff, like his bottle rockets and artillery shells and stuff like that. He'd launch out of that thing. Well, one night, like the finale came, and he wanted to like launch a whole bunch of stuff out of that tube, and he kept putting stuff down there and kept putting stuff down there and
Oh
kept putting
boy.
stuff down there. And I will preface this by saying he was a Budweiser guy, and by this time of the night, he'd had a couple of Budweisers in his system. So, but he kept cramming stuff down there light, and I told Lynn, I said, I wonder what the melting temperature is for a PVC pipe, because I got a lot of respect for that PVC now, because that's just getting pretty hot down there. Anyway, not 30 seconds after I said that, that PVC pipe just went like just tumbled over and like crumpled on itself, and like it didn't catch fire, but it definitely melted down at the bottom
Wow.
of that thing. That was so funny, just
Oh my
watching that
gosh.
thing like turn over. Thankfully, there wasn't anything in it at the time that it like turned over, but yeah,
Jeez.
yeah,
Didn't
good.
think that went through.
Yeah, well, he was kind of liquid enhanced.
He wasn't
by that
thinking
time
at
of
the
the night.
time.
He was
Yeah.
not thinking. All of his brain wasn't functioning, I think, at that point. So anyway,
Well, I think I have one of my friends, Larry. He kind of went through the whole gamut of what we've been talking about. He's describing kind of a typical day for the 4th of July with him and his family and his neighbors, and it goes from everything from gathering the family to doing a traditional barbecue, all the way up to the competition, as you might expect. So let's listen to this clip real quick. It kind of summarizes everything we're talking about already.
Awesome.
Our 4th of July tradition has evolved over time. Starts with the trip to the fireworks stand, and we spend more and more and more each year to get the biggest and best fireworks that we could possibly find. I usually have a barbecue going in the pit. We may cook a rack of ribs. We'll invite the neighbors. We'll invite our kids. We'll invite our grandkids. We'll invite people we know that we think may come. We'll have a good supper, and then we'll sit, and we'll wait, and we'll visit until it's dark enough to let the bad boys loose. Of course, we've invited the neighbors, but some neighbors won't come. Some neighbors think they're in competition with us. So we live out in the country, but our little part of the country sounds kind of like an artillery event. We'll also get some sparklers for the grandkids, for the smaller grandkids. We'll let them roam around the backyard. We'll call a ceasefire and let them play. And then we all sit back and watch the big ones go off. It's a fun family tradition. Our kids love it. Our grandkids love it. Our neighbors sit out and watch our stuff, and we watch their stuff. But every year, it's kind of a competition. Who's got the biggest? Who's got the best?
Very good. And then let's go and roll into a cool story by our friend Todd. Just a great father-son moment revolving around a baseball game that happened to go just about 19 innings. And so a great a moment between father and son, and having met Todd's dad, I could totally see them doing this together. So.
And I mean, what better thing? I mean, baseball is all American, just like the 4th of July. So perfect. Let's roll this one.
My favorite 4th of July memory goes to a baseball game on TV I was watching back in 1985, the Braves and the Mets. It started late on July 4th. My family and parents and I had been to a friend's house, a party, watching fireworks and barbecuing and stuff like that. Got home. The game ended up going 19 innings, so technically it ended on July 5th. The biggest highlight was in the bottom of the 18th. The Braves were trailing by 1, and their pitcher, Rick Camp, an .090 career hitter, was hitting because there were no other players available. He had a home run on an 0-2 count with 2 outs. It was probably around 3 a.m., and I'm watching in my bedroom, and I went basically crazy. My dad comes in, running in the room, asking, "What is going on?" All I could do was point to TV. Once he figured it out, he was amazed too and stayed and watched the rest of the game with me. The Mets won in the next inning. great memory there with my dad and I.
Have you all ever been to like a 4th of July fireworks show or a 4th of July at the ballpark? Been to those kind of things?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So much fun. So much fun.
It is.
Yeah. Some of the best fireworks displays around the areas are usually after baseball games, really, and they're nice because it's usually, even if the home game isn't on the 4th of July, they're still gonna have like a 4th of July fireworks show on the 3rd. You know what I mean? No matter what, you can have a good show, and sometimes it's more fun when the home team's out of town, so you can enjoy 4th of July with your family, but still maybe go to the game a couple of days early and enjoy the 4th of July festivities, baseball style. So that's a good time.
100%.
Love it.
Very cool. Yeah. So I think this is it's been a great episode, guys, and I think we've certainly the 4th of July is a meaningful occasion and meaningful holiday to all of us Americans. And I had one of our listeners, Jason Bolt, good friend of mine. He submitted his what 4th of July means to him, like thought he really articulated well. So let's roll that for the listeners.
What's the funniest thing that has happened on the 4th? So back in 2020, President Trump promised to bring back the fireworks display at Mount Rushmore, despite environmentalists and forest management warning against it due to the fire risk, which that's understandable. When he was asked about that, the risk of the wildfires, his response was, quote, "What can burn? It's stone." What does Independence Day mean to you? It's a reminder of those who fought and stood against a monarchy and tyranny. It was a very small who did this, a very small amount of people who did this. Less than half supported the effort. And there are claims that only 3% saw battle. That's the grit it takes to go against the grain and stand up for what you believe. I'm reminded of that each year, of those who did so for the freedoms and liberty that we all enjoy in this great country.
Yeah, I couldn't said it better myself from what he was saying on that clip, for sure.
The part about the Mount Rushmore I thought was hilarious. Trump said some of the most off the wall things, but that particularly got me pretty good. I was laughing for quite a while when I listened to that for the first time. Pretty good.
No doubt. So, but definitely gives you a reason though to think about why we have our freedoms to celebrate this day. And, if you get a chance, sometimes it's a little sensitive 4th of July, and we don't know what people experienced who has given us the freedoms to do what we're doing. So, if you have some veterans out there that may not enjoy what's going on those evenings, be sensitive to that. And don't forget to thank them for all they've done to give us our freedom, for sure.
Absolutely. Well said. We're lucky to live in this country, and count our blessings. It should count our blessings every day, and sometimes we forget to do that. And so if we don't do it, count those blessings on the 4th of July. You see a person in uniform or a person that that served our country, tell them thank you and shake their hand. And there's a lot of men and women out there that have sacrificed it all for our freedoms, and so we should be thankful for that all.
I think so too. And every day in that respect should be 4th of July. Every time you see somebody, thank them for that. That's in uniform or has served in uniform. Pretty cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, pretty good episode. Thank you again to all of our guests who were nice enough to tell us about your favorite traditions, your favorite foods, your favorite memories of the 4th of July. We really enjoyed the Wayback Time Machines interviews, and we were so glad that there was good feedback for that, so we could do this again. I hope that we continue to do this because it's just so much fun hearing. I love talking to each other, but it's so fun hearing some of the other memories and bringing those in. What do y'all think?
It's awesome. Loved it. It's really cool to have participation amongst our listeners and family and friends, and this is it's a solemn holiday. It's a good reminder. It's a good time to kind of stop and remember that the freedoms that we enjoy every day, we're not free. And
absolutely,
let's not forget the true meaning of the day, and just hope everybody has a safe 4th of July with your families. Hope there's some good things on the grill. You make some good memories with your family and friends, and don't forget to thank a veteran if you see them for their sacrifices for our country. And we're very blessed in this nation with freedom. So
100%.
Absolutely. Well, all right. Well, everybody, take care. Bear those banners far and wide. Ever to be our pride. Took a memory down Red Raider Lane there.
Yeah.
But oh, say can you see
Enrico Palazzo, everybody.
Brilliant. Yeah, and don't forget to have fun on this important day as well. So, like we always find to do.
Enjoy your family and enjoy your friends for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We hope you enjoyed this special edition of the Gen X Journey. Please don't forget to subscribe to our show and to follow us on our various social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, X, and Threads. We have lots of fun over there too. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in the Gen X Journey podcast belong solely to the hosts and guests and do not necessarily represent the views or opinions of any entity they are associated with. The information provided is for entertainment and informational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of qualified professionals for any specific issues they may face. The creators and contributors of this podcast make no representations as to the accuracy, completeness, or validity of any information, and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its use.